Federal Historic Rehabilitation Tax Credits are available for any qualified project that the Secretary of the Interior designates as a certified rehabilitation of a certified historic structure. Federal income and estate tax deductions for charitable contributions of partial interests in a historic property are also available. To qualify for any of these tax incentives, property owners or their representatives must complete the appropriate part or parts of the Historic Preservation Certification application. This is a three-part application used to apply for certifications required for the federal historic preservation tax incentives. Use Part 1 to request certification that a building contributes to the significance of a National Register Historic District and is thus a certified historic structure for the purposes of the 20% rehabilitation tax credit or for easement donation purposes. Properties that are individually listed in the National Register but that are made up of more than one building, such as a plantation with outbuildings, are also certified via a Part 1. The Part 1 may also be used to request certification that a building does not contribute to the significance of a historic district for the purposes of the 10% historic rehabilitation tax credit for non-historic buildings. There is no fee associated with a Part 1 submittal. Part 1s may also be used to request preliminary determinations of whether an individual building not yet listed in the National Register of Historic Places might meet the National Register criteria for evaluation, whether a building in a potential historic district contributes to the significance of the district, or whether a building outside the period of or area of significance of a registered historic district contributes to the significance of the district. If a property is a single building listed in the National Register of Historic Places, it is already a certified historic structure and a Part 1 is not needed. You can always contact the Division of Historic Preservation's National Register Coordinator, Jessica Richardson, to determine if the building in question is listed in the National Register of Historic Places. Or you can visit the National Register of Historic Places in Louisiana database at our website, www.louisianahp.org. Keep in mind that the building must be listed in the National Register, either individually or as part of a district, to qualify. Certification that the building is within a local historic district, a downtown development district, or a cultural district does not make a building eligible for the Federal Historic Rehabilitation Tax Credit Program. National Park Service approval of applications and amendments to applications is conveyed only in writing by authorized officials of the federal government. Approval of a project by any other federal, state, and local agencies, such as a local historic district, code enforcement office, or planning division, does not ensure approval by the Secretary of the Interior for federal tax purposes. The NPS certification decision is made on the basis of the descriptions in the application form. In the event of any discrepancy between the application form and other supplementary material submitted with it, such as architectural plans, drawings, and specifications, the application form shall take precedence. Completed applications are submitted to the State Historic Preservation Office, here in Louisiana, the Division of Historic Preservation. 2 copies of the application are required, one to be retained by the SHPO and the other by NPS. The SHPO will forward applications to the NPS, usually with a recommendation. State recommendations are generally followed, but by law, all certification decisions are made by the National Park Service on behalf of the Secretary of the Interior. Parts 1 and 2 of the application may be submitted separately or together. If submitted separately, Part 1 must precede Part 2. Applications are generally reviewed within 60 days of a completed, adequately documented application. More will come on that in the next presentation. Notification of certification decisions is made in writing by NPS. A copy of each notification is also provided to the Internal Revenue Service and the SHPO. We always recommend that applicants contact the Division of Historic Preservation early in the process of preparing an application. This completes the presentation on what is the purpose of the Federal Part 1 application. Please continue the presentation on what to include as proper documentation of a federal Part 1 application.